new things as well. What you've seen me kind of analyse on the channel is what we've just done there. And there's some similarities, of course, but you're all unique in what you're doing, but you're essentially, no one's using the ground. No one's using the ground as they could be, as you know, okay? But it's like, how do we use it? So, okay, it's okay to say use the ground, but it's not just pushing off the ground, okay? The first thing we need to do is we need to train the body before we even attempt to use the ground, we need the movement vocabulary. So we need to create the ability to use the ground. So currently, how you're moving will not allow you to use the ground the way you'd like to, because the recognition of the rate of recruitment of the muscular change that you need isn't there. So everybody's been used to swinging. I'm just going to wait for these guys. Swinging as a block. So your joints, but not just a block this way, a block this way, and a block this way. So our joints are moving almost, well, at a too similar rate. Everything's moving together, and there's no real separation. When I talk about separation, I'm not talking about kind of the old X factor, the kind of hips. I'm talking about the separation between all the joints. Recognizing the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the torso. Where do we get speed from? Okay? Because if everything's moving together, we've got to move everything faster. And if we move everything faster, we're just moving mass. We're not really using pressure to move mass. So you'll have seen me do this on the videos. So essentially what we're doing, it's destroying the camera. So essentially what we're doing is, if we're talking laterally, what everybody's generally doing is moving mass instead of pressure. Okay, so to move pressure, here, there's flexions and extensions. So we're not trying to, notice here to use the board, this is what a lot of people get wrong, is they extend to tip the board. We actually flex to tip the board. Okay, so this is why it's on rails. So you're in contact with the ground and you're actually flexing to move the rail. So you're actually working with the rail. Then you can push off and you can control the rate of this. So what I've got is an extensor chain. So what we're thinking of here is think of this part of the hips for rotating, think of this part of the hips for flexion extension, and guys, it's this that we need. Everyone's missing out on this. If you were to jump, if I did this on the body track, the vertical goes off the chart. Okay, so flexion extension. Okay, so in order to use the ground, I was just saying, guys, in order to use the ground, we've got to have the capability to use the ground. So it's not thinking about them, because if you think about the movements at the moment, the way your body moves, the speed of it, as we all just experienced then with the kind of diagnosis, is we're all moving too slow. So the speed, agility, quickness to how we move isn't there. Doesn't mean you have to be an athlete, okay? Don't associate speed, agility, quickness with being like a 100-meter sprinter, okay? That, what I've just done there, is SAQ, okay? Here through the hips. That is spiking it. What that does is, that gives us the ability to move our centre of mass up and down. So at the moment, how we're moving our centre of mass is too slow. But that's because we're moving mass to move pressure. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore what it's like. We're going to build up the movement vocabulary to enable us to use the ground. Because otherwise, we're going to be attempting exercises that we're not able to achieve because we don't actually recognise the rate of recruitment necessary. So when I talked about moving as a block, the joints are moving too close together time-wise. Okay, so we've got to be able to move through ranges quicker. So I'm going to just do a few little exercises. We're going to explore your movement. We're going to do it in the groups that you were in when you were hitting balls. We're going to get the balance pads out. We're going to look at how you move. We're going to wake up the system, get that neuromuscular system fired up, sensitise ourselves to movements that we can then start to adapt. We need the vocabulary to create the literacy. Okay, you've habitualised to a certain literacy, and you're trying to use that to change and expand the literacy. But unfortunately, we've got to recognise the vocabulary, these joint actions. Okay, so that when a lot of you have said kind of, I mean, we're all experiencing it. I don't feel like I'm using the ground. I don't feel like I'm moving quick enough. And we've seen that a lot of us aren't able to tap into the kinetic chain because we've got to be able to sequence to be able to release later. We've got to be able to sequence the body, and we've got to create the forces for the sequence. But if we're already moving the club and everything's moving together, there's no opportunity. There's no opportunity here for me to really use any vertical because everything's moving together. So it's the block movement. I'm moving mass to move pressure. So first of all, we're going to experience what it's like to use those chains, which give us the opportunity to use the ground. All we're doing at the moment is creating the opportunity. And then when we start to delve off into the exercises in more depth, you're going to get so much more from it. So you don't need your golf clubs for the moment. What we're going to do is just get some balance pads out, and we're going to start to explore these extensor chains. Okay, so we're just thinking about at the moment the front of the body. We're going to think about the front, then we're going to think about the side, and then we're going to think about going up and down and all that kind of thing. But for this to react, it's got to have something to react to. At the moment, if it's all moving too close together, you can't move quick enough, the club's going to accelerate, and then we all end up with this action, which is essential. And a lot of us are still loaded into the floor. It's a very different feeling, unweighting from the floor, you going up as the club goes down. But to hit the low shots with power, once you can go up and down, you can control low point. Once you can shift, low point's not just left and right, as we know, low point's up and down. So once we have the ability to go up and down, we're going up and the club goes down. So I can actually regulate. It's only one element of it, but I can regulate my angle of attack and things like this. It's not necessarily going to happen because the club's going to be reacting as a sequence, but I'm creating the opportunity. I'm creating the landscape for it to happen. I can then start to push. Low point's coming up, but you'll be able to sense where you are in time and space in relation to the club, and you can time it because you're catching the ball on the way to the low point. So when Guy said he struggles to hit the ball low, Guy's centre of mass is not really moving up and down, he's moving side to side. It's great with torque, but the rotary shallows the swing, and the lack of, well, you're relying on shift to keep the low point forward with rotation, but the problem is without that, you want to control the trajectory, without that low point moving up and down, you're having to really time your lateral and time your release, and you're missing out on that vertical, which can then contribute to that release. So you can then use the vertical not only to time your release and get some more energy through to the golf club, but you can be controlling the whole dynamics of your trajectory in terms of delivery and where you feel that club head, that sweet spot in space. Everything's contributing to your feel, guys. All what we're doing is just enhancing feel. We're enriching your awareness for what you do on a subconscious level, which will then you'll be able to tap into consciously. So the exercises are going to let us essentially move more efficiently. We don't have to do lots of physical work. We're not trying to change our physical attributes. We're not physically incompetent. We've got to explore our capability and action as much of that potential as possible to tap into that competency. That's what we're going to do with these exercises. So we've got the GRFs, but we're not going to use the GRFs yet. What we're going to do is we need to just weight the system. We're going to jump on these balance pads, guys. So, I just want you to come over here. We've got another set of pads. I'm going to show you what we're doing. So we're going to stand on here. Okay, if two of you guys want to do it with me, then we're going to take it in turns. You're all going to get equal opportunities to do this. I want you to watch what they're doing. Because what we're talking about here as well is dynamic balance. So we've got to be able to move at speed and maintain dynamic balance, otherwise the nervous system's going to start playing up. Okay, so we're training the body, we're creating the foundations. So here, every movement you're making here, okay, in some way, shape or form, not necessarily in the actual range, exists in your golf swing. So we're just tapping into all the components in a very abstract way, and we're going to let the body start to reorganise them in some kind of coherent form. But we've got to start to recognise the components first. Don't go straight to the form at the end. The form's the end. Okay. So standing with your legs straight, knees extended. All I want you to do is use your ankles and just go back and forth, heel to toe. And as you go onto your toes, it raises your body. So already we've got pressure going forward and our centre of mass going up. We're moving away from where the pressure's going. Most of us are moving our mass with the pressure. So this is already, we're disassociating pressure.
So the pressure's behind me, is that what you're saying?
Pressure's forward onto the toes.
Right.
So that's the point of application, that's where you're feeling the push. Essentially, you're moving away from where you're pushing.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
The way I've designed these balance pads is they've got a really wide edge, so it's good for your nervous system. It's going to let you go onto your toes, and as you go onto your toes, this will support you. Most balance pads you'll fall off, so this is allowing you to go, and without toe gripping. Toe gripping is not good for your posture, and it's not good, and it's a nervous system response. When you go to a golf ball,
where'd you get these balance pads from?
They're on my website.
Okay,
Yeah. Special made for this.
I will possibly, if you need some stuff, I mean I'm going to need them because I'm doing some stuff with MLB later in the week, with an MLB team. I'm going to need them for that, but there's a potential I can leave some stuff or send you it, or you can buy it. If it has I can probably let one or two kits go. And if you've not got the kit, some of you have got it, you get a 2-hour download with all the exercises, the foundations, the fundamentals. You're going to see a lot of evolution over the. Cause I filmed it 2 years ago, so there's an evolution that's taken place, but nevertheless, it all holds value still. It's very. So, back and forth, knees dead straight, Stan. So it's working the calves, it's working your posterior chain. So we're just waking up the chain. Okay, now what I want you to do, watch me closely guys, is I want you to just roll your ankles from side to side. Legs straight. And can you do that without moving your pelvis? And do the feet move at the same speed?
No.
You're going to find one side is slower than the other, probably. So see if we can, legs straight there, that's good, and then explore that inversion, eversion. That's it, that's good. Obviously if there's any pain, let me know, we don't want pain. But these are quite strange movements at first.
Further than you think.
Your foot's doing this when you move laterally. If I move away from this leg, that foot's essentially done this. So if I can't do this, I'm going to struggle to abduct. I'm going to struggle to lift my centre of mass up because I need to abduct. I need the femur pelvis to move away from the femur. Okay, and I need to be able to keep met head contact. I need first and fifth met head to push. I need to be able to push with these met heads. I need to be able to push. I need to be able to adduct, abduct, and vice versa. So this is essential for hip function. So if we need that ankle movement for hip function. If you have to sway your pelvis, you're cheating. So you're going to get this in your golf swing then. So if someone, and then a guy, or you look at a video and they go, you're swaying off the ball, you need to stay more centred, because you're having to do this, so that suddenly now you've taken away what was essentially a movement solution. So we've got to address, first of all, is the competency there in the system to actually do what we want to do? Because guess what? If your body knows how to use these, it won't need to start using this. It just doesn't know at the moment. It's all new.
Guys, switch out. Let rotate other people on.
Yeah. Cheryl, if you want to jump in, switch round, guys. Have a go. And then knees dead straight, heel to toe, toe to heel. Let it elevate you. This is the start of you going up as the club goes down. By the way, you're doing it's the same in the backswing. We need to unload for a backswing as well as unload for a through swing. Most of us are loaded in the backswing. Whenever we're having to use muscular tension, it's a real tension of the system. Because the club's going up, you're loaded into the floor. So you're doing this, as opposed to this. So you. This. So we don't want these two guys working against each other. Pulling, pulling. If we've got momentum, if we push off the floor and then we stop this, that carries on.
Stretch.
You get free stretch. You get an eccentric loading through a transfer of momentum. As opposed to trying to load, this is not eccentric now, I'm having to contract. I'm using concentric to try and make a movement that's going up when I could be using momentum for eccentric loading as I'm unweighted. This is what you do when you throw, when you kick. It's effortless, there's no tension on the body. When you're doing this, it's essentially you're getting weightless. So it takes tension off the joints. Here it's the opposite. This is torque through the back and a tensioning through the system. If I pull this end away from this end, in order for that not to go with it, I have to apply tension there. So if that's my hip, if that's my left hip and that's my right shoulder, and I pull my right shoulder back, I'm doing the opposite, and I'm doing the opposite move with my left hip to maintain its kind of position in space. So what I've just done is I've took a system now and I've tensioned it. So to feel the swing weight, to feel the club, to feel the golf club, in the sense, because what we're talking about is proprioception, awareness in space. If everything's tensioned, it's like suddenly now my ability to move is compromised. I'm moving everything together, and my ability to feel it. How do I know what my wrist does if it doesn't move? How do I know what my wrist does if I have to use my elbow to move it? I've just lost the ability of the wrist. So we're going to go through every joint, every major joint, and recognise it's because. Yeah, it's cramped because these intrinsic muscles aren't used to being worked like this. So guys, we're going to go through. Well done, Cheryl.
Am I?
You've not fallen off, have you?
Yeah, I'm not falling off.
No, and you're going up. That's it. It's only a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to feel the arches and things like that. Just go steady. So we're going to go through all the joints, because if you do start to create vertical force, well, you all create it. Okay, if we can use it, how do we use it? The system's got to be adaptable. But if you've always been used to if your body's been used to a certain release pattern, it's been using that to square the face. So suddenly you change the whole dynamics of your movement. You've got to change the dynamics of the release patterns. Is the awareness there? Is the repertoire there? We've got to build a repertoire that we can use to adapt to any of these changes, so that shots become possible. The control feels like it's a part of it. It's a big feel. We feel in control. We feel competent. We can let ourselves go now, as opposed to being apprehensive about what we're doing, because we're underprepared. So, did you go side to side, Cheryl?
Not yet.
That way, guys. Just see if you can do it without the pelvis moving. So legs dead straight, and just roll those ankles.
So independently of everything. Okay.
We are isolating all the
Okay.
joints. So what's happening is your
Yeah,
brain's
I'm
creating
used
a
to-
map.
Yeah.
Your brain's creating a map of what all these joints can do. At the moment, your ankle's been blocked with it's been a part of the knee. It's all become like one segment. You've not really been using the ankle and the knee and the hip separately. They've all been moving together. So the body recognises that as a block, as a segment. So essentially, what we're talking about, guys, is the schema, the body schema, of how you recognise yourself, and in terms of what I mean by that is how your subconscious recognises itself. So all we're doing here is we're awakening the system. That's fantastic.
So you say that, then I.
Yeah. Then I put you under the
Can't
pressure.
take a
Then you
compliment.
got conscious. It's really good.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. Yes, guys. Lovely. Jack, have you been on? Do you want to jump on it? You've done the side, yeah? Everyone been in? Glenn? Yes. Now look at this. So what that is, what you're doing there, Jed, that is part of rotation. So when the ankles are rolling, it's also a rotation.
There he is.
So we've got to feel, we've got to be able to do this, invert, evert, to tap into what is essentially, it's a major component of rotation because it's pronation, supination, and this is what loads us.
Probably not, no.
Yeah, anything.
I'm gonna get cramped and wake up in the middle of the night with cramping.
I'll have the same problem.
I'll put my water down.
So guys, look at this. It's going to work. There. That's my subtalar joint. Knee.
Just what you said.
Okay. So,
Taking our shoes off?
no,
Socks
you
off,
don't need
going
to.
the
I'm just
beach?
showing you.
Got my bucket in Spain.
Yeah. Okay, see them.
Rotation.
Now that is probably 25 degrees. I only have to turn my hips now another 15, 20 degrees. I've got like the old 45 and all that. It's easy to turn the pelvis. If I don't use that, I've got to use this. This is restricted. It's not you've got 6-7 degrees from the knee.
What are you lining that up with something?
That's just my subtalar joint. That's the centre of the joint that's rotating. Centre of the patella. I'm just taking the centre of the knee joint.
So you got to do that to unweight. You got to
So-
use that subtalar joint.
but-
Watch what happens when I jump. So if I can't do this, I'm going to struggle pushing off. I'm going to go to the hips and try and. That's a way. That's a mechanism. But I'm not using these joints. I'm not using this. This is a spring
From the toe.
from the toe.
Okay.
We're not going to go into the gait analysis stuff. Everything, by the way, involves gait analysis, podiatric biomechanics, but the GRF system's very much more than it appears. It's also a primitive reflex tool, okay? So a lot of physios use this in stroke rehabilitation and things like that. So it basically switches into your primitive reflexes. We've all got immature reflexes, okay? And they're present in golf swing. So sometimes you'll have a movement in your golf swing, you'll have a behavioural trait, you'll have a movement behavioural pattern, and it links to primitive reflexes. This helps to retrain primitive reflexes. And that's how you're born, basically, as well. So we're not going to go into that, but it's neurodevelopmental delay. So that's what the physios are using it for, NDD. So it's a motor control system and an analysis tool through gait analysis. So, but every movement in this exists in your golf swing. So here, what we're doing is, so if I load, for example, look what happens if I'm walking. See where the knee goes to the ankle. See what's happened at the ankle, and I've loaded. Now I can push. So that's a natural collapse. We don't go forward, it collapses. Look at this now, the hip glides, this loads the hip, and now I can push. And look what I needed to do with the subtalar joint. Look at that rotation. So in a golf swing, this is not, if I do this, I've just switched off all this chain. That goes the other way. You've just been doing that by pushing forward and your centre of mass going up. You've already done this. Okay, so this is why you don't, all this explanation, I'm not going to be explaining like this for 2 days, don't get, okay? All I'm doing is I'm just starting off now so that you know there's a lot more behind the exercises than appears on face value. Otherwise you can dismiss the exercise. You can be thinking, oh, I've done it, it doesn't really work, it's a golf, because we try, the problem is we've become so conditioned with golf swing exercises, we try it, we give it, A, not enough time, B, we're probably not capable of actually actioning the way we should be doing it, and then we just discard it and try another thing. And we're constantly going round, when actually if we go right deep dive into the root causes, you can unlock one joint and everything just goes spiral. It's like a cascade effect and it's like a domino effect. That's what you see in the lessons. We're unlocking joint potential and suddenly chains activate, suddenly movement changes, awareness starts to kick in and you start to use your body a different way. So don't underestimate the importance of these very simple exercises, because they're not. They're not simple, and they're extremely, extremely deep in meaning. So here, when you start to use basically a pronation and a supination, your golf swing is walking. So that's torque. We're using torque. We're rotating to go forward. So if I was to strike, okay, so for example, say I'm walking forward this way, look at what happens to the back foot. Look where the ankle goes. Okay, it's gone that way. Rotate this way. Okay, now if I bring this foot back, that's just basically, this is what happens in the backswing. Look at this foot's gone forward. Can you see this is pronated? Look at this. It's a golf swing. It's a pronation and a supination. What the body needs, it needs double pronation. It needs this. So suddenly now you've got both legs spring loaded using what's called the windlass. So this is how you walk. Your body knows all this shit. Okay, excuse my language. Okay. Sorry, Cheryl. Okay. And so now you can use the ground. Now you can actually start to spring and unweight. None of us are unweighting at the right rate because we can't recruit the chains at the right time. So the club is always going to take over because we've got to get 60, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. And you've got to square the face. And guess what? If it can't rotate late enough, it's got to start rotating to close early. So you've got an early release because you've got to start squaring the face up. We're going to start to recognise rotation of the shaft and how we can control the rate of rotation. So recognising club face control. But what's it reacting to? It's got to have something to react to. So this is fundamental components. Okay. So we've just done sagittal and medial lateral. So now we're going to go transverse with the lower body. So we're going to go here. You're going to stand on, and you're going to just make some circles with the knees and let your pelvis go.
Up on, guys.
And I want your knees to circumnavigate, if you like, or go around that balance pad. Your knees go around each balance pad, follow it. See if you can actually, we're looking at full ankle range here in horizontal plane. Full ankle rotation. Let your knees go, let your pelvis go. You're going to need these movements, guys, in a golf swing. In one way, shape or form.
Clockwise or?
Either way first. Everyone will choose the preferred way first, and then the second way will be harder. And what I'm seeing as well is, guys, I'm seeing your dominances. I'm seeing how your body wants to move. There's a profiling going on.
Is it easier without shoes or what?
It's harder without shoes.
Is it?
Yesterday at my 5-hour lesson was totally shoeless.
Never been there.
They were off about 20 seconds into the lesson.
This is a massive wake up for the body. Really start to exaggerate as long as you know knee pain. Let
Jack,
your knees,
you want to try here?
Let your knees, guys, let your knees track over your toes. Knees over toes. You've seen the knees over toes guy?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a reason for that. So walking backwards is a good thing.
So,
Get a reverse treadmill, they're really good.
Yeah.
Good for your golf swing.
Access with that space around there.
Then change direction, guys. Now see what it's like to go the other way. Well done, guys. Don't spend too long. It's a big workout, this, for your body.
Yeah, I know.
Take your time.
At the next course. That's a good idea because we'll need them for our next course. But then I'll see you. So yeah, okay, I'll bring them. Cheryl?
Let me just show you this, guys. Watch. So if I'm walking, if I can't do that with my ankle, if I can't do this to push off, a lot of us don't. Okay. I have to bend my knee. I have to use my hip early, and I change my stride length, so then my timing's out. What's going to happen is this is going to change your timing in the golf swing. Okay, because suddenly you have to skip a joint, and you have to go to the next joint. And guess what? This joint doesn't work as quick as this.
Yes.
So suddenly now you're going to a slower joint to do a bigger job. It's got to move more. So now to create torque, okay, you're talking about the displacement. So it has to move more to create. So you have to get more movement in the places that you don't want it, because your anatomy gives it away. The joints with the most bones, the segments with the most bones have the most joints, and that's for movement. There's not many muscles big muscles in the feet. Look at all the muscle mass, but you need that to activate this. The anatomy gives it away. What you should be using in your golf swing, and how you should be using it.
So when we do this, we shouldn't be pushing with the toes much?
Not gripping, but definitely
think
rolling into the toes and pushing off.
Gripping.
That's gripping.
Okay. Trying to make
And then that just
Yeah. So if you gripped, so this is why sliders are a bad thing. Okay, because when you wear sliders, it's shocking. Okay, for your lower back, because it switches the glutes off. Because suddenly you go anterior chain, you have to grip. Your feet are gripping to walk.
And explore how much you can
And,
let your knees even go over
trainers,
your toes
guys.
like that. That's
So
good.
we're going to go into
Good,
golf.
yeah.
We can go into golf shoes
Grab
later.
onto
These are
it.
the best I've found on the market. You're going to be able to. You're going to be able to get these off my website because I mean, there's no good golf shoe out there, to be honest. But I've got a few designs which I'm
Maybe the
working
other
on. But
direction.
if you notice this, see how this folds, 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 folds. It's your propulsion. It's your propulsion chain. And then what it's got a carbon fibre blade. So you know, like the 100-metre Paralympic runners with the blades, that runs from the ball of the foot, from the forefoot all the way to the heel for the transfer of energy. It's also got no heel raise, and it's also could be better, but it's not got much toe rise. Can you see? So your feet sit in a lot of trainers like that. So how can I? So
Sneakers, by the way.
yeah,
Trainers.
sneakers. So how can that foot switched off? It doesn't even have to work. All I'm doing is rolling my hip. We're moving forward. That's more hip dominant. This is lower back. So when I need that, it's not there because that's always been basically it's in a dorsiflexion.
Is that the same pair right there, what George has got on?
Yeah.
Just different colour.
I've only just got involved with them, and they're good guys. And they move, and so what they do is they resist lateral movement, so you can actually shift. They're flexible in the forward and back, anterior, posterior for propulsion. Resist lateral, so you can shift and rotate. So it's helping you with rotation and vertical, and resisting the lateral, so you can basically control your centre of mass by when you push. So they're good. They're good.
So again, it might be
About 50% good.
every morning working on the function.
Okay. So very good. We've started to weight things up a little bit. What we're going to do now, that's the sensory side. So what Brendan's doing there, I put spikes on the other side so that you can do this and you can feel where the pressure is in the foot. It gives your body a stimulation of where the pressure is when you do it. It's basically a spiky ball. That's why you can't buy these.
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
That's well different.
No, that's nothing compared to the
Spiky.
thing you'll have to stand on.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, cool. So if I can just jump in, Brendan. Right now, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to just start to walk. In fact, sorry, but beg your pardon, no, racing ahead. Legs straight. With your legs straight, be careful, just very soft. I just want you to just rotate your pelvis. So just disassociate your pelvis. With your legs straight, can you just twist your hips? And the reason I want you to do that is because I want you to feel how not to do it.
Just twist.
Because we've got to differentiate between what is dysfunctional and what's functional.
Do what now?
Just twist your belt buckle, but with keeping your legs straight. You can't move your knees. Knees stay straight. So that's it. This is lower back basically that's doing it. So that's why it's not great.
Oh yeah.
It's lower back dominant. Yeah. So don't do too much, guys. I don't want you taking that place. But a lot of you are doing this in your golf swing because you're loaded in the floor, and so we're stuck. Okay. This is why you get this release, because if you're not unloaded and waiting, the tension's still in the system, loaded through across the joints. You can't move your low point, so you're having to essentially stay down to get a strike as you're adding loft to the golf club. And you're adding loft because you're square in the face. So everybody's doing that. So this is how you don't do that. All right, but you can't go to the end. You can't go to the final furlong first. So now. Walking. Now with the walking, use that to twist your belt buckle.
I walk, I don't have to think about it.
Exactly, you're going to start going into more of an autonomous phase. I want you to, there's a cognitive phase, associative and autonomous. I want you to just let that belt buckle, use your knees to rotate. There we go. Because we're going to let the knees move. So you can use your foot.
I see.
So
Yes.
we can use our foot to let the knee move, to let the hip move. So if you've got a knee replacement, use your foot and ankle more. Let the knee collapse.
Oh, this feels good.
That's it, Stan. So how do we speed rotation of the hips up?
Walk faster.
You walk faster. Exactly.
Yeah. It's hard to do it fast. It's hard to do it faster.
It is if everything's moving. So if you're used to moving as a block, if you try and move faster, you're going to move everything faster, but you've got a problem because you've got too much inertia. You've got the turning circle of the QE2. And you need to be a speedboat.
You'd be a speedboat, not the QE2. I like that.
Can we get that?
Here we go, guy.
Pointing at me and then
Hold the football. Bad at all.
So it starts with that walking action, that heel toe.
I gotta keep on weight.
Think about walking. There you go. That's nice.
All of them.
So what's happening? That's good, Cheryl. So with your knee, you tend to sort of
Yeah, you get on, get off, get on, get off.
Yes. Now it's not going to. This is not the finished article. This is going to be like a bit crazy at first.
I tend to go
That right there.
Yeah. That's the
That's what
answer.
you're talking about.
That's yeah.
typical, or is it?
It's actually going over. It's loaded so now it's loaded up. It wants.
Just stop for a sec, guys, and just listen, because this is in essence, this is what the whole 2 days are about. You're going to start telling me how you can move and how it becomes an advantage in terms of your swing. If you just explain, that was perfect what you said, from the diagnosis to what you've just felt there.
Oh, he was telling me that I used to be a swayer, so now I'm too simple. He said I wasn't loading on my swing, and as we're going through this, I feel the load. It's this rolling over of the ankle is the load.
And also, we
Yeah.
talked about going up and down.
Yeah, and it makes you go up.
Now it's a component of extension.
Yeah.
External rotation is a component of extension. Hip
Now I want to shoot out of it.
Exactly. Then you can drop. Then you can drop and pop.
So Marcus, you're saying this is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And that's what most people are doing.
Yeah.
But the walking cycle is what we should be using in golf.
So everything, throwing, kicking, it's all walking.
Okay.
Boxing, it's the same thing.
Right, and then it unloads.
Yeah. Does that feel different?
Right, so it's there, and just like we were doing that thing, you just while you're turning, you roll a bit. it's loaded. No, it's not.
So it stimulates thought-provoking conversation. This.
Well, it is correct.
That's why it's awesome to group.
I mean, I don't want to do that. Right? I can feel the pressure.
You can feel the pressure. Exactly.
Right now, watch this. I can feel it already. What's going to do? It wants to then unload reverse. So this comes up. This comes down.
Stan, you can let that go now. You've got the mechanism to let your pelvis rotate. There you go. It takes the pressure off the lower back. It's all the other joints that providing the energy.
I've been trying it.
It's weather.
Yep.
I can't believe how different this is, Mike. What we used to.
What's this?
You ought to come over to the UK though, it'd be good.
Yeah. Right here.
Well,
This thing right here. It's got starting to open up on itself.
I think it's
yeah. When this
I was
there you go.
turning
There
this,
you go.
but my
Yes.
my ankles weren't turning.
Brilliant. And you use it.
Now,
no, I
Well,
my feet.
and really explore.
Different feel.
Marcus, if we're doing this right, where does the vertical component
So
come
just
in?
watch.
Like, 'cause
just
I feel
just
a
watch.
little
Yeah,
too
this is coming next. Look, it's starting to do it. Brilliant. This is coming
I
next.
grew up playing other sports.
Yeah, try and move to something out. You move to the left side way too early before you kind of get up. That's better. Yes.
That's actually
Yes. Now you can go on for just get a great sensory awareness. Feel the pressure in the first ray. That's the first ray. That's what you want to be using in your swing. First ray action.
Well,
Yeah.
not this, but just this.
You've got to be drop. You're pushing off too early. Drop it, but then push off to rotate. Brilliant. And then so you'd have to load first, then you can push off to rotate. Yeah. Because what actually happens, so when you look at it, more balance, and then when you drop, that creates the torque.
Yeah, I can feel it. Awesome.
Accelerates it and transfers it.
I was a teacher.
But if you're going pushing off straight away, you're creating torque, but you've already bypassed the loading phase.
And there you go.
That's what causes it to be sitting.
Yes.
Because I can feel it right here. And then that coming around there is
Yeah.
pushing me this way.
Exactly, it will do.
I don't know if I'm
And it's really sad because that is the baseball swing. So you go here, and then you don't turn your hips at all, ever in the baseball swing. You just let this thing
Exactly.
move it.
There you go.
Forward.
That's why they want me to go to see him.
Yeah.
How are you going to rotate
Yeah.
back there?
Because none of them have a podiatrist.
Right. Right.
It's unbelievable.
Well, and you naturally do
Or
all
not a
this. In,
podiatrist who's involved in the coaching.
yeah, all the things you're doing, you naturally do in the baseball swing too.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same things. Just not like this.
Okay guys, right now we introduce the upper body. So now we're going to go vertical in a second, all that stuff. We're working, we can't work at everything do everything all in one go, because otherwise it's an overload for your neuromuscular system. So here, it's already an overload, which is good. So here, walking, now what you're going to do, you're going to start to rotate and let the arms swing. Now the arms swing back and forth. So this should not be under tension. Watch this. So this is not, you're not physically controlling this like a robot. Also, these arms must not deviate. Okay? They must maintain their direction like as a pendulum going back and forth, so your torso has to rotate to let the arms swing. And why would we do this? Okay, why in the hell would we do this, right? So,
Who knows?
just watch. So if I do this, okay, this scapula is protracted forward, can you see? This one's retracted. Okay, if I just do this, if I just add up this arm, externally rotate and flex there, you need those little movements and you've got your backswing. And you've loaded the scaps against the rib cage, the right scap, so you've got connection. Connection's not keeping forearms, but this is just going to slow you down. You try and throw a ball like that. You don't throw a ball connected. You don't do anything like connected. Okay? It may help, but you're going to need speed at some point. What happens when you have to disassociate to create speed? If everything's out there, suddenly now your torso's moving. That's great for pitching, potentially, but for long drive, for hitting a long drive, as soon as you have to rotate earlier and faster, you're probably going to be throwing your swing direction out, and that's going to throw your low point, and then you're going to start releasing early to square the face and things like this. So we've got to make sure we don't bring in unnecessary errors. What we're doing here is we're creating the environment for all these swing faults to not exist, because they're only existing because there's a reason that they're needed, and there is no swing fault. It's a solution. You're moving now your body in a way where you are negating the necessity to recruit these what are potentially swing flaws. They're not, but they're just a solution. So this is now rotating, extending, okay, and laterally flexing your torso. It's everything you want here. That is a lateral flexion, it's side bend, it's extension, it's everything you want in a swing. What's it doing? It's controlling your dynamic balance. So you're rotating around, you're rotating to maintain balance. When you step off here, you use this to swing the arms. Okay? You're going to feel the need to go up and down. But the arms must not swing at all sideways, and they can definitely not cross your midline. So the arms are just going back and forth because that's scapular function. So rotating the rib cage as much as you can, that's it. But this should not be slow. If it is, everything's under too much tension. Now feel like the arms are just brushing your pockets, brushing your thighs. That's better. Now on the way back, so slower, 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 more aggressive, faster is not better. Okay, it's not a case of the harder, faster I do it, the better it's going to be, the more I'm going to remember it. Smooth, but with a swing. Is it swinging from the shoulder, or are you having to really put tension into swing, or can you just let these arms swing like rope?
I know, right?
Drop in the middle.
It's better, Brendan.
Marcus.
When I walk, I always go left hand forward, right foot forward,
Yeah,
like this.
yeah, we've changed the mechanics with the upper body, yeah.
Right. So, but with this, it's together on the same side.
Yeah, not at the same side, not at the same time. That goes first, then it throws the arm.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what I'm going to do next.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've just flipped the torso mechanics.
Gotcha. So it is a little different to walk.
So in terms of, it's the same chain. What you're doing though is instead of contracting, you're extending it. So in walking, it's the same chain, foot to shoulder.
Yeah.
So that spiral line is compressing. In golf, they're just decompressors, but it's the same chain. So I'm just working the chain in the concentric direction. Well, eccentric now, but
Gotcha.
it's a concentric direction in walking, but eccentric for. So it's the same chain. It's a contralateral chain.
Yeah, I didn't feel how this goes and then that swings the arm. I had them too much at the same time. That helps.
It's still too slow. That's what I'm going to show you now.
Take a rest, otherwise it might burn out. You're doing great.
Yeah. So that's why everything goes
Maybe
in
narrow
the
the
chain.
stance just a little bit, Jimmy.
It's way too tight.
Makes it easier to.
See how the hip's not really flexing and extending, but his knee's doing all the work.
Yeah.
So he's not recruiting. Basically, I posted today about the pinnate and the parallel fibres in your muscles. You have to work the
Oh, I was
fibres
doing
in
that. I
the
was
right
just
direction.
feeling it.
If you're doing that, you're switching off. Essentially, the glute med and the glute lat that you need. Medius. So the maximus is getting some work, but it's just underactive. But as soon as you start to flex from here, now you're loading through, and glute max, glute med starts to get involved, and that's a rotator. So you're loading the rotators.
There was this,
So that's why Brendan struggles with rotation. He has to go. He has to use his right body to rotate to get the club. That's why he has to feel like he's swinging so much out because he gets the club in. Because this is doing the job of what the body rotates. That swings and reacts. The inside, the old Hebron, the inside swings the outside. So it's kind of, but it's true.
Yeah.
But you can only do that if you can move fast enough.
See what you're saying?
I say fast enough, early enough.
So when that leg is, when the leg is straight, that's taking most of the weight. That's it. That's better. Yeah. That's it. Now just let it swing to the shoulder.
Okay guys, so next up,
Yeah.
It's a massive exaggerated version of that.
we're just going to shuffle those back for a
Do we need
sec.
these anymore? So I can take
Just,
them away a little
yeah,
bit. Just to the side.
Just to the side, just we might use for the jar. So the pressure down. So again, something we make. The tennis balls are good, but the problem is they just decompress and don't give you any rebound. So what this is giving you, it's like a trampoline, and it's also giving you some pressure back. Okay, so it's just giving you some reaction, so you can actually get some sensory feedback.
Same thing about my parents.
What's that?
He said his shirt is gradually shrinking from when I gave it to him. He's put on probably 20 pounds. Could be. Yeah, it's all plastic.
So, I need pressure domes. Which I can't really use. For some reason.
I did see a packet of loads of it.
Yeah, I've got a few, but I can't find others. Vector mat
I'll get it.
with the sliders.
I'll get it.
Little red frame, yeah. Little red frame. Ah, there we go. Well spotted.
Marcus, I'm gonna go put this in the shade.
Yeah, thanks. Okay guys, so I think we can all do this together. Have you got, yeah, you stood on them. Show great. There we go. I'm alright, I've got everything.
You guys, there's drinks and snacks over here, so don't get dehydrated.
Okay.
Those these are the ones.
Okay.
These are just my leftovers. Everybody got some?
Need any others? Everyone got a pair, yeah?
Awesome.
The young lady, you got it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
your
just
feet
got
are
big
covered.
feet.
Big.
So to place them in the right position under the foot, just make a little jump, just a tiny jump. Wherever you feel yourself push off from, that's where you want you to place them. Everyone's a bit different. It will be a bit different without shoes, but that's okay. Okay, what you've all done is already what you need to do in your golf swing, but without jumping off the floor. What I want you to do is just put your hands there and your groins there. Not on your belt line, below. There. Just lower.
Oh, okay.
There. There. Yeah, just there. On your hip flexor. There.
Oh, that's right.
On your flexor.
So this thing here, you can push it.
No, just one sec. Just let me guide you.
Yeah.
There. So you're just feeling where the hip flexors are. You're feeling this is the front of your hip. This is flexion extension. It's not the belt buckle. The belt buckle reacts to this. The belt buckle's your pelvis. If you're trying to move your pelvis, it's going to be too slow. It's too big a segment. So if someone says lift your pelvis, it's like taking a weight and doing this. Okay? The hips are the trampoline. And you don't need to move them much. Bang! There you go. That would spike. If you did that on the pressure plate, boom, it goes off the chart. You do that at the right time. You all do this, by the way, if you were throwing, just at a different rate. Okay? Now bend your knees. Bend your knees, just a little bit. Load the balls of the feet. I want you to flex there, sit into that. Point your belt buckle down to the floor a bit more. Stick your bum out. There you go. Good. Now, spring off your toes to pop the belt buckle up. There you go. That's it. That's your extensor chain. Different feeling?
Yeah. Marcus, do the hips go first and then the
The
calves
feet,
finish
the
it?
feet,
The
the
first.
feet fire the hips. So your feet fire your hips because what you're really firing is your
Oh,
glutes.
that's higher. Okay.
Your feet are firing your glutes. Now, just to check out your tilts, because this is important, because hips and lower back have to work together. We're moving up the body, guys. That's what we're doing. Okay. So it's a complete body scan. So what we're doing now, look at my belt line. I just want you to, with the legs straight, just tilt your pelvis up and down. Can you point the belt buckle to the floor, which will arch your lower back? Then can you bring the belt buckle up to the belly button? If any of you got bad backs in posture for golf, you put your thumb on your belt buckle, thumb on your belly button, second finger or first finger on your belt buckle, and you keep that gap and you bend forward, and it keeps your lumbar neutral. So you're using your hips. And then what you can do, to get to the golf ball, you'd use thoracic flexion. You don't want to be putting a lot of extension in through your lumbar, because it's going to restrict rotation.
So it's with this forward, then down.
This will go, that gap stays the same, so it's going to have to go back.
Yeah. So it goes
Oh,
down.
yeah.
But you
Oh, you don't
start
want to
essentially
fall.
with
Yeah,
this
you can feel
kind
that
of.
goes smaller.
This
when
is
you do
only,
that.
you don't need this. You don't need thoracic.
This
Lumbar,
is
is
kind of
the lower
tucked
back.
under when you start.
You're gonna have to push back because your hips are gonna tilt. Your hips
So
are
you
gonna.
start a little bit tucked under.
No. Just stand normal,
Okay.
and then just keep that gap, and you're gonna have to keep the gap as you bend forward. That's it.
Oh, it feels tender.
So that's hip flexion to get you into a posture with a tilted pelvis. Make sense? So what not many of us do is actually get our pelvis in a place where it can react to the feet, and then we start trying to pop the pelvis, and it's not in a place to be able to react. So just
It's super. It's like
tip forward,
it's not far off.
bend your knees,
But
pop now. This gap, guys, this will shorten very quick from the toes. Watch. Now it's short. Yeah, from the balls of your feet. Bang, from the pads. There you go. Perfect, Cheryl. Look at it. Notice there's momentum. You're going up. You're unweighted. What you've just done here is you've weighted. That's loading. That's unloading. Nice. This is awesome. This is your pop. But what you're also doing is you're learning to drop by recognising how to pop, because your body needs the full journey. You can't just give it half the picture. If you, again, golf instruction works on a position, but it's like what's before, what's after, what's left, what's right, what's up, what's down. Where's the patterns and the variations to these patterns? What we've got to do is we've got to give our body, first of all, the feeling of the chain. Now, you're not jumping the same every time. You're using the same mechanism. Some are a bit shorter, some are a bit bigger, some are faster, some are slower. That's fine.
we did so much food late last night.
Okay, now,
Pretty good. I was surprised.
you've just learnt that
The water was crappy.
bilaterally. We're going to do it now unilaterally, because when one side's extending, one side's flexing. And then you're going to go into flexions, and then you're going to pop. So now we're going to use the walk in with the arms and use the pop to swing the arms. Watch this. You'll time it. There we go. That's it. That's how you do it.
I'm glad it wasn't, but it wasn't like
So
I'm doing it better.
watch me, Cheryl. You're doing all right. You are, yeah. But you know.
Oh, I see. There is a pop in it.
Watch. No. So you stay where you are.
Yeah. It just wasn't. Yeah.
Yes. Watch me. Watch me first, Cheryl.
Yes.
Stay here with
I
me.
watch you do it backwards on YouTube all the time. I'm like, oh.
Stay here with me. Left arm forward. Ready? Watch me first. Drop and pop to swing. Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Let your torso rotate. Let the arms swing back and forth. There you go.
Yeah. I can feel
Awesome. Look at that. Let your belt. So now we're working up. You've got the pelvis because you've got the lumbar and the hips working.
No, I was just going to say,
Yes.
have another go.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Good.
On the way back as well. It's not just on the way through. You want the same for this exercise, the same intensity on the way back as you do on the way through.
Okay.
When I say through, I really mean up, because the arms swing.
Have you ever watched a video of Will Cox?
Weird feeling, guys, yeah?
Yeah,
Where he's finished.
it's
And he
Feel the
was
load. This is at the
Yeah,
heart
you
of your
feel the-
movement.
He looked like
Without this, you ain't got nothing.
feel the load. I like feel.
This is crazy.
In terms of full body recruitment, you've only got part of the body recruitment. And then you're trying to max out your awareness of that part of the body.
But it's that
Just feels alien. It's crazy.
It does. But guess what? This is what you do this in all your natural movements, but because of the way you've conditioned yourself for golf, this feels weird.
Exactly.
Isn't
do that.
Yeah.
Justin.
He's down here.
You do it so well.
With, yeah.
Watch this, guys, because he does it so well.
Yes, he does.
Start from a stop, Marcus. Yeah, there you go. All right, why are you doing this? What's the
Am
point
I?
of this?
Is it trying to do it from like a golf swing perspective? Or
No,
just a,
don't even think golf.
yeah,
The worst thing you
I
can
think
do about
that's
this is
what's,
think golf.
like,
That's right.
That's what's got you to this point.
Oh, do that one more time, Marcus. I missed the whole thing.
confusing me.
Don't even think about a golf swing. When the ball's there in the golf shot, these are all components to use in a golf shot.
You know who
Do
Conor
it again.
McGregor
I
is?
wanna
Think
do
of Conor McGregor instead of golf.
One more time.
Yeah.
You know how he has this entrance walk where it's all kind of lazy. No reference.
One more time.
No reference.
One more time.
Just down the line stuff.
It's just unloading. Great.
Go on, give us another demo.
You're not a devil.
Yeah. Just for a little story.
I'll show you how centered you can be.
Wow.
Look at the fluid, it's not even moving.
Wow. That's good.
That's why they tell you to keep your head still, but you need all this to keep your head still.
When you do it, I like the kind of like, it's professional, like, but the like abruptness to it that kind of cracks it, whereas it kind of takes too slow. It's like a little too slow and rhythmic. When I try
Feels
to
like
do
I'm
it.
just
But
getting
you have that
out of the
abruptness
movie.
that cracks the chain.
Yeah, battle ropes at the gym, then like unilateral.
What's that dancing?
Look at this. Now rotate your belt buckle with it. Twist your hips. Go. Twist. That was awesome. Yeah, twist your
Did it
hips.
right?
Big hip twist. Go on, big hip twist.
I'm just dancing.
Exactly. Here's a
That
dance.
shoulder shimmy is nice. Yeah, that's
The
great.
Carlton from Fresh Prince. over there.
Carlton, yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking of then.
Well, you're a good enough dancer to be able to have somebody guess what the heck you're doing.
Yeah, if only we could mimic pros' golf swings as well as we can.
Brings
mimic
back all the
Carlton's
nightclub
dance.
days.
Yeah.
So with a club, you can start to feel how the centre of mass of the club reacts to all this, because that's a chain. And the centre of mass of the club is the last thing to react. If it's the last thing to react, you've got control over it, because you're moving, it's reacting to you. So how you move influences where the club goes. If everything's moving as a block, how do you actually influence this thing with the optimal control? You can't really, because it's moving at the same rate as you. So, and you're trying to accelerate it, it ends up taking over. So then you're trying to hang on to something and just control it, because you've had to use the speed and square it up, but now you're trying to hold it to keep it square. And if you pop, you add more energy to an already early release, so now it's even more out of control. So by trying to pop with a dysfunctional kind of sequence in this way means that you're just adding more problems. So you might be popping and thinking, I've got the pop, but it doesn't work because everything else has to be compliant. So all we're working here is we're working in isolation, and guess what? When you talked earlier, Guy, about how does this work in the swing, essentially the intention starts to reorganise all these movements so they all become compliant in terms of their relationship with each other to create a sequence and to create the form of movement and the release patterns that you want for that golf shot. So you have to work in everything in isolation for the body to recognise it, then you can start to work on its compliancy in terms of movement, and now you can start to adapt it and play different golf shots because you've got the competency there in the system to do it. So this is why this morning is so important. Because if without this, you're just going to be scratching around using the same old body schema that you've always used. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get a golf club in a second, and you're going to feel this just with your trail hand. Get it swinging first, just with the wrist. Get the mass swinging, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start to use the drop and pop both ways, just to feel the swinging, and the club reacts. Don't think about any positions. It's just you throw in the club, and it's a very different action. We are not making the same movement as the golf club. We are not creating the arc. So if you swing it, like a, do you have conkers? Conker on a piece of string, or no conkers out here.
I don't have them here.
Something. So
Yeah,
you've got a
yeah.
lasso. Yeah.
The toy with has a weight on the end.
A
of
toy
it.
that's got a weight, a piece of
Oh,
string.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've got the thing. I'll show you.
You should get the conkers out. I'll have a game of conkers with you. I think I still got like a 22 timer from when I was a kid or something, yeah?
Something's yeah.
So if I do this and create a circle, in no way, shape or form really is the movement I'm making with my hand relatable to that. I'm not moving at the same time, I'm just doing this and creating an arc. I've got to let the arc emerge naturally. I don't have to try and create the arc. Otherwise, that's now rigid. I'm having to use a rigid structure to try and create an arc, which is actually a result of something that is fluid and requires just me to create energy here and transfer, as opposed to trying to create the circle. Everyone's trying to create the circle of the club with the club. That's why we lose all this speed. We don't recognise the recruitment rates. We don't recognise the patterns. So like that. Okay. So it becomes blocked. You can still play good golf. Okay. There's no right or wrong. Still play good golf, but it's not the same way that you move in life. You're acting. Okay. So we've got to create this geometry, which happens in life naturally. When you walk, your arms don't go like this. Okay, how do they swing forward? Because of the way you're moving, rotating. Okay, so your movement will organise itself, but then as soon as you become more specific in terms of the task and the shot, that's where we're going to go with release patterns and what the club's doing. What we've got to first now feel is how this produces an arc. So it's not a true arc, but it's a form of an arc. But you're just going to do this now. You're going to need to find some space so we don't clatter. Okay, but now we're going to feel how the pop then allows the swing to happen. Watch. Then the pop happens. We're all doing it at the same time. It happens so much earlier. So your timeline of how you swing and how you recognise yourself changes. You're going to be moving so much earlier, and then this is where the leap of faith is. You have to trust this to react. Not many of us are trusting it, because we're moving together anyway, so we can't. But if we did try and leave it behind, we don't recognise this reaction. Here, trust it, and it starts to react. Look at that. On the way back as well, drop it and pop it. There we go, look at that.
Do you consider your arm to be totally inactive?
No, I mean in this, just for this exercise, we're going to turn off the tension. There will be some golf shots, guys. There's going to be some golf shots the way you're using lots of tension. Because whether we like it or not, the body braces. So when you hit a golf shot, you'll see this. You'll see the facial expressions. You'll see the tension in. Of course there's tension in. It's not really a free swinging weight. Okay, there's a tension in. If you punch, there's a bracing. Okay, it's a car crash. Okay, the body, it's a collision. Whenever there's a collision, there's a brace. The problem is when this bracing becomes conscious, it's a yip. We've all got the yips, I'm pleased to tell you, but we accept it, and the body functions fine because it's a very low level, no noisy yip. Okay. But it does present itself sometimes because there's a bracing. The more apprehensive, anxious, the more we think about how we're moving, the more prevalent it comes into our consciousness. So there's a bracing, there has to be, because there's a force we're having to control. Because you're not just producing positive energy, you're producing negative energy too to keep things stable and to accelerate. So here, once we've found it with 1, we go to 2. Okay? And then just easy half, 3/4 swings. Don't take any turf, actually, like I just did. But just grab like an 8 iron.
Should we use these?
Yeah. So take 2 of the guys, take the pressure domes with you.
I go behind you.
Cheryl, you need a chair? You guys, when we do the clip singing thing, let's make a line. That way nobody crosses swords or whatever. So let's all get in a straight line. You're totally up to you. We're just lunch at noon. We were thinking. Yeah. 10:30. Yeah, we still have.
Whatever you feel. You want to transition to something different?
Need a different space or whatever.
Tomorrow we'll bring some beer and wine at the end.
That's a great idea. We went shopping last night and we bought like so many beers that we'll probably end up going for them.
So weird.
Yeah. We have like 20, yeah, we could bring them.
Think of the body as a piston going up and down.
Looks good, Jimmy.
Trail hand if you can.
Jimmy, right hand.
Trail. Right, sorry. Yes. Yes. No, you're right. So what you'll do is you'll go, that's when the GRF comes in. That's where we go next. Yeah, up and down. And let this, so you're going up and down and this thing's making a circle. So you're not, so you're letting the body rotation, we're getting that for free. If you throw a ball, you don't think about rotating. You don't get involved in the rotation. Your body rotates automatically because you're creating the forces from the ground. The vectors to do it are acting on you to rotate the body. But we need some, it's sagittal plane action to get it. So you're working up and down to get it. It's good. Just narrow your stance, Jimmy, there.
It goes wider as I keep doing it.
Yeah. You're rotator and lateral, that's why. That's better. Yes. Now that is. Yes, that's what Brendan needs behind you with that right leg. That's it, Brendan. Yes. Is that a different feel, Brendan?
Yeah, George said something that helped me when I was in the arm swing where so be here, then drop, and then you use that drop and push.
Yes, use that now to spring to lead off the toe. That's it. Good, Stan. Try not to sway try not to sway, Stan. Yeah, think about just dropping and popping on the right, then dropping and popping on the left. So drop and pop. That's it. Then drop. Okay, Stan. Would you mind? Can we show the guys? Leave those there. You're okay. Just come out here, guys. This is how we learn from each other. So just watch Stan.
Pressure on me.
Okay, guys, so Stan's our pro for the moment. We talked about a bracing. Everyone's got the yips. We talked about that, okay? So there's a bracing. If you punch hit, when there's a collision, there's a brace. It's just not recognisable. It's low-level noise, but it can become high-level noise. But if everything else is fluid and moving, the collision is happening, the body's bracing, you're going to see it. There's a tension. It's not just a free swinging weight. There's a tension in the system, which means everything else has to be able to accommodate this for energy transfer. So, just show us what you're doing, Stan. Thank you for being our demonstrator, because this is common, and it's good. It's way better than he was. But if you were a coach, what would you tell him to do?
More vertical?
Sorry? Flex a bit more. Where? Show us. Flex what? Just point to it. What are you flexing? Okay, because everything else flexes when you think of that, yeah? Okay. There we go. Now you can spend longer, Stan, on the right to flex back. Down. So there, yes, you can just stay on the right to flex, then push off it. There you go, look at that.
Nice, Dan.
Look at that. But you said that. You picked it out.
Bryson? Yeah.
This is the coach yourself.
Everybody rush.
You can send us an invoice, Hal.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for a new coach. Sorry, George.
If I can stay here, I'm fine with that.
I want to collect before you leave.
Does that feel different?
Oh
Does
yeah,
it feel
yeah.
different,
Once that really helped. Yeah, doing that, the flex, feeling it in here, especially when you're up here. We just come down before I pop this way.
Exactly. So now it all starts to make sense because he's saying now. He knows where he can go when the club's up there. As it's going up there, he knows he can drop. He can feel what it's like. So you've got now you're creating stretch. This is long drive stuff. Okay. This is a separation. You're creating a stretch. You never push the golf club. You don't push. So you might see guys using pushing. Okay. What is when you push? You also, where's my TheraBand? Remember when you push, if I push, I'm creating an equal opposite force here to maintain position in space, roughly. So I'm compromising the use of this now. But if I create the momentum and then stop this end first, that goes. And I get that for free. But if I start trying to pull this back, pull the right shoulder back, rotate, lawnmower, things like this, you're just essentially compromising the rest of the structure, its integrity, because it has to firm up to resist this force to maintain your postural structure. So now you're debilitating yourself in how you can use the hip to its true function, and the foot. So you're messing about with your vertical forces. So here, it's got to be an eccentric, it's through momentum. In every by the way, it's rotation too. It's rotational from the ground. It's the same thing, you're transferring momentum in 3 degrees. We're going to go there with the board. That's you're way ahead. It's equal and opposite, Brendan. In terms of vector. Nice.
Maybe you just carry that around as in when you just over the vehicle.
Feel different, guys?
Completely.
This, you can appreciate how I try to get this message over on the videos, but it's,
We'll have a look.
you can only get so much. So just what we're going to do, that's good, Cheryl, let your elbow just fold. So just to give you an idea, we're going to go further up the chain, but this does not look like a backswing, does it? Okay, if I do that, it doesn't look like a backswing. Okay, but watch this. So that doesn't look like a backswing. But if I put a club in my hand, it creates an arc. Okay, so as soon as I rotate my body, watch this, if I do that, so all this elbow does is flex and extend, this basically pronates. So what happens is now, you get a swinging action, you get an arc. But that's not the arc. I'm not feeling the arc with my arm. I'm doing something very different to get a swinging of the club. And as soon as don't try and copy this, guys. I'm only showing, but it's just to explain that your body movement isn't what the club's doing. Totally different. So when you position the golf club, you are trying to do too much work for the golf club. You're trying to do it all. Whereas you're doing something different. If you throw a ball, it's so different. You're making a very different action to the arc. You're not doing this, trying to create the arc with the body. The shape of your body movement is totally different to the actual shape of the golf swing that the clubhead's making. So when I do this and I rotate, if I just go there and rotate, I'm here. So it's kind of, suddenly now this action becomes, look how fast I can get the club up. So now I can start to use some vertical, and I'm just using this extension, this flexion of the elbow. Yes, look at that now. Let the elbow flick it. There you go. That's it. Now there's a reason to turn your body. Now let your body rotate, but pop to rotate back. There we go. Now we've got an arc. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Heavier.
It feels heavier.
Yes.
Yes, you can feel it because there's less tension across the joints. That is beautiful, Cheryl. That now switches on the legs, the feet, and the hips. You can pop the hips. You can drop and pop it more. Drop more. Feel more drop. Ready? Yes. Look at that. Brilliant. Now both hands, so we don't wear that arm out.
Wrist.
Can you feel the snap? Brilliant. That's beautiful. How are we feeling? Different?
Very good.
Feeling the club, for starters.
Feel a lot more just motion all through here. Yeah.
Don't expect to hit this dead straight 300 yards. Okay, your body's got no pattern, it's got no map for this movement in terms of a release. And how are you feeling? Yeah, looks fantastic.
You said pace yourself.
Yeah.
There, you would start to drop brilliantly here, and then
Okay. We're not finished yet on the speed. Okay. So here's the new training aid. We're coming to a target near you. Not really. It's going to come out in the next few weeks. And it's got a band system. We're not going to use the bands yet, but we could. There's a band. There's those stretchy chains that you'll see. Okay. We're going to work here on triggering the whole thing. So we're going to go drop, pop left, drop, pop right. And this is going to help you create the momentum to swing. How do your arms swing when you walk? You don't go first with the arm. You move and the arm then reacts. Momentum. You've got to create the momentum first to move the club. So this is what we were talking about earlier. You're all right, Cheryl?
Yeah, it's just
Are you all
put my
right?
shoes back on.
Oh yeah, good. No problem. Take your time, it's all right. We've got loads of time. So, you're all doing very, very well, got to say. 'Cause it's not easy, okay? So, here we're going to drop, pop left, drop, pop right. So we drop, pop orange, drop, pop red. Notice the stability. Now, I'm using the balls of my feet. I'm using the propulsion aspect of the foot. You can get propulsion, you can extend from the hips, but if you ever try to jump, you wouldn't go from the heels. It's not. You can get speed, but not like that. It's a different chain. So what we're going to learn here is how this is basically directing the vector back at you, so it enables you to stabilise. And it's recruiting the same chains, it's loading the glutes and it's creating some lateral, and basically when you go to the ground, it's basically, this is only part of it, this is not the whole thing. But this is giving you the momentum, like I said, like walking, to swing the arms. So you're not doing this, or even worse, at the same time. That you won't want to be walking far doing that, it's going to tire you out. Okay, but here, the arms react. So what you do first, you get walking and then the arms react. So we've got to create the momentum first. We don't have much time because it's short, sharp. It's a short, sharp shock. It's like what Brendan says, the intensity of it, the abruptness. It's this. Notice I'm not having to move far. Don't need to move far. Drop, pop, drop, pop. You're all going to have a go at this. Using the balls of the feet, that's switching on the hips, everything's firing. Okay, we can go in different directions, whether we want rotation, lateral, more vertical, more when we want it. We can load up the system to react to it, we can do whatever we want to. I've got chains, we can attach the arms, we can feel how the arms react to this. We can go wherever we want, three-dimensionally, okay? Drop, pop, drop, pop. Guys, I want you to take your turn. Now you're, yeah, I love it, stepping straight in. The thing about this, and what you're going to learn to do is not judge yourself. There's no judgment to this. It's just learning.
Now, you say you want it quicker?
Let's see.
Whoops.
So we start off, drop first, and then pop the left leg. Okay, so we're not trying to slide, we're trying to push. So this is why it's difficult.
Oh, I got you. Okay. What if it doesn't slide?
Do we have any more sets?
We can do it just one leg. Okay, so notice what my ankle has to do this.
Yeah.
That's a supination. If you want stability in your golf swing, let me show you this. You need to want your body. This is all very important for rationalising what you're doing. Okay. There's going to be cheat mechanisms for this. I've got cheat codes, so don't worry. Your foot, when you externally rotate, i.e. supinate, see the joints here in the midfoot? If you look closely, they're all spaced. As soon as I rotate this, they all lock up. The foot becomes a rigid structure. As soon as you do that, it's rigid. Now your hip can fire. When that's soft, this ain't got no platform to fire. Everything starts moving together, it's decelerating too slowly, you can't fire and stop quick because you've got no stability. You've got to be able to close those gaps. You can't close the gap.
So you're looking for this?
That's all it is. Straight up, as if you're jumping. Not to the side, up onto your tiptoes. Let me show you. Just watch. George, do you want to just... Yeah. Thanks, mate. Don't slide it on the grass. Okay.
No.
Using this part of your feet, not the heel. If I do this, it's too slow, my heels are down. This is all hip dominant. Whereas this, it's the full chain. I'm going up and down, or I'm actually sliding as I'm unweighted. It's easy to slide when you're unweighted. If I'm weighted, I'm having to do all the work. If you're weighted into the floor, to move is so difficult.
That's what I thought you were doing, putting the weight there.
No, you're jumping off it, in essence. You're jumping up, which makes it easier to slide. Yeah, that was good. So you go, start with your feet together, and it's just it's a mini step, half a step left, half a step right. And then drop and pop to the right. Yeah, that's better. So you go,
So I'm not looking to put weight on it.
no, watch this. Drop, pop, drop, pop. You don't have to get this perfect. That's already good. It's enough. You don't have to be awesome at moving. Okay?
What's wrong with being awesome?
Get rid of this.
As in,
Get rid of this.
you have to be good enough. And you know what happens though? When you combine good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough, you get awesome. No point being good, awesome in one place, and not being any good at any other. If you're good enough in all the areas, that's how you get awesome.
That's the way it looks. Mm-hmm.
Mark, you could do 2 people on a mat if you go at either end.
That'd be very personal, yeah. We'll get a candlelit table. You could turn around and then and do it back to back. Could get 4 on it.
Big twister.
It's just purely for transport purposes. We couldn't bring everything, the whole.
We were still overweight, not bringing everything.
We were, yeah. We had to sweet talk the girl at the desk.
Pushing.
So this is challenging your ability to stabilise. Can you produce the drop and can you stabilise the pop? This is glute control.
That's interesting. It's tough.
I'm also bringing out an activation program soon, which is like a little training set thing. It only takes like 10 minutes, but it's an hour program, but you can just pick out 10 minutes of exercise and it recruits all these chains.
Mark, they do slide a bit on these mats.
Guys, if you want to go onto the mats, if you take some sliders
Here you go. Stand.
and share them.
Yeah, feel free.
Yes, well done.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Sliders over
Pop.
here.
Yeah,
they,
drop,
they
pop,
do
drop,
slide
pop.
on that.
Stand, start tall,
thing.
drop to pop. That's good, but too wide, Stan. Onto your tiptoes. Up onto your tiptoes. Yes. Yes.
Got anywhere to go?
That's interesting. Very difficult.
It is, yeah.
More difficult than, well, you make it look easy, of course.
It is. And then what you'll do is you can drop half to go. Inside. Yes, well done. Nearly, rushed it.
Yeah.
Left, drop pop, right, drop pop. Rushed it again.
Stop pushing.
Spring.
Very interesting. It's tough.
Want to try it, Jim?
Not together, yeah.
I think this is kind of the thing, because like when I try to turn,
Yeah.
this back leg goes. I can do them together?
So, what you're learning already is that... George, just one sec. What you're learning already is how you're learning about your coordination patterns. Okay, you're learning where you struggle as well. So this thing, you're trying to do things in your golf swing which are way above the pay level. Way above. We're not able to do it. So when someone goes get P5.5, we're not able to do any of that shit because we can't do this. Well, you can. Well, you can do it, but we can't do it to the proficiency level we need to have that level of control and feel to do other things. So we've got to start off at ground zero. And what we've got to do is we've got to build up. And what we've got to do is, this is giving you the components, and you're going to develop an understanding of how to coordinate this. Because you've all got very good movement, guys. None of you have fallen over, none of you are kind of moving around.
It's early.
Uncontrollable, yeah. Well, we get the whiskey out later. Okay. So you kind of you adapt it in a very efficient way. So your movements are great. What we've got to do is we've got to refine it. So then the coordination starts to kick in. At the moment, what happens is you get an overload and you start overthinking and you think, I can't do this, it's too much for me, I'm overthinking. That's just because you're physically, at the moment, your competence is being challenged. So then we go, I can't do this, I need something more simple. And it's like, you don't, you need to just get used to this. You need to spend time doing this, and guess what then? The overload disappears. So suddenly, cognitive overload, suddenly, which we feel as stress, just goes. Guess what this does? When you are faced with stress then on a golf course, you overcome it easier because you don't feel so incapable. It doesn't have the same anxiety effect on you because you can move better. When you're feeling stress, guys, it's because you can't move the way you want to move. So the stress is physically induced, not mentally. We think it's mental, but it's because we don't feel physically competent to do it because we're missing out the vital components. So this is a stress on the system. So this is like being nervous on a par 3 when you've got a big carry or you've got to be able to get a good strike, you've got to be able to control the ball flight, get the low point forward, you've got to be able to compress it, it might be into the wind, and you've got to get a carry over 170 yards with an iron or something, and you've got into the wind, and you've got to control it into a tight flag. If these components aren't there, how are you going to do it? It's like that's a mental, because the subconscious is going, we're under prepared for this shot, and then suddenly you don't realise this is going on. Subconsciously, your body is just it's just downward spiralling, and you're hanging on now for the ride and trying to just control this thing, and really it's just down to incompetence. It's not incompetency in terms of your ability, it's just the fact you've not got the components. So here, if I can't control this, I can't move fast enough when I need to, because if I want to be able to strike
your club,
yeah, if I want to be able to strike, if I want to hit the ball low, I need to raise my low point later, really late. Okay, if I go early, I'm going to release early. Okay, or I'm going to have to stay down, but then I'm going to get an early release anyway because I need some power. Okay, and I need to square up, so I'm going to get this. I need to be able to push off the ground, but I need to hit it low. I need to compress the golf ball because that's how your golf club's been designed, to deal off the face, to get the sweet spot, to compress it and get some ball speed. Okay. And get the spin down. I need to be able to do this quick, which gives me the ability to go that way for longer. And I won't do it there because I'll hit you, Cheryl. But I'll go here. Watch. I can go much later because I can spring quicker. But if I've not got this mechanism, I can't get up quicker, so I have to go early. And everyone says, oh, you've got an early release, early extension. Because the body's trying to use the ground, but it hasn't got the speed to the mechanism, but now you lose your low point, you can't hit the ball low, you float it up with a load of spin. And then you're into the wind. So what we talked about earlier, Cheryl was doing it, swinging up, and then who else was dropping? There were a few of us dropping. Now with that drop, when you go on the GRF, you can shift. So I've just took my low point that much under the ground, which gives me now this ability, all that, to push off and still strike the ground. Because I've moved my low point below the ground. And now I can spring and I can catch the ground as I'm going up because my low point went so far, it's now coming up as I'm going down with the club. Yeah. All these questions you'll answer yourself. You don't need me. All I'm doing is showing you the environment that you're operating in and what you're creating, and then your intuition takes over, and then you understand why. So these give you the answers. Movement gives you the answer. So remember, movement doesn't need language. You're attaching language to the movement. So what you're telling me now is what it means to you in a certain context. Your body just recognises. Your body doesn't know that's a hand. We've labelled that a hand. It doesn't know that's a foot. It just knows it's part of the body. We've called it a foot. Everything you look at is basically the body doesn't know. It's our conscious mind that's basically labelled it. And so then we isolate it and we think, oh, my hip, my knee, they're all part of the same thing. When your body moves, it's using everything at the same time. If you isolate things, you suddenly debilitate yourself in terms of recruiting the rest of the system at the same time and moving everything. If you had to think of all the components in moving, that would be the highest overload ever. So that's why, don't try and simplify this thing, guys, because it ain't simple. Just accept its complexity, but train the right way. Do not simplify a complex thing. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a massive disservice, because guess what? That golf course requires complexity. But it requires you to move with simplicity. To do that, you need the components, and then the stress levels aren't there. The cognitive stress isn't there because you've got the vocabulary to adapt. So here, we've got to get this. Everyone must get this, okay? Non-negotiable. Everyone's got to get this. Otherwise, you ain't loading. You're not controlling the lateral, vertical. You're not through your stabilising patterns. Because this is where we go onto the board then. Because you're going to be expert movers by the end of this. You already are. We're just showing you a different way to move.
Just the wrong way.
You're already expert in life, in moving. Everyone's an expert mover. It's how you adapt that expertise. So you're all experts, but you've got to expand your expertise. So I'm training you to use the GRF basically. So we've got to get up. Think of the legs as pistons. 1 piston, 2 piston. Just try that for me again, guys. I want you to get that in isolation. One leg, then the other leg. It's not both legs at the same time. Yes. It's not. So what you'll have to do, if you keep your heels off the floor, that's now more hip dominant. Just keep your heels, they'll go up and down a bit, but don't let your heels touch the floor. That was very good. Just a little bit together, but it's getting better.
Marcus, could you explain again what you meant by the supination component of this? Are you actually trying to turn?
No, not try. Just if you just push off the balls of your feet, you get that supination.
Okay. It's like
and that's springing.
I'm already moved that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
but you will be able to do that. But this is where I go into the gait cycle stuff and analysis. But if you can raise your heels,
yeah.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to go high, Cheryl.
Okay.
Just got to drop, pop. Left first, and then right. Yes, that'll do.
It's beautiful.
Not together.
Yeah.
We've got to be able to move one leg without having to move the other. If both have to move together, then we're struggling. Okay. Yes, just a bit together. It was not bad, but you get in there. Well done. Okay, so now we're going to go on to this, guys. What I'm showing you now is a bit of a toolkit that's so adaptable. Now, before we started to go onto 2 legs, when we were quadrupeds, essentially. Okay, so we went bipedal. Okay, we had 4 points of contact. Our feet weren't designed like this. Our feet, there's a big gap here, and our feet were designed to stand on branches, basically, okay, and jump. So this is a very natural thing for us to do. It takes us back to it's primitive movement patterns. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these. Okay, and this provides a rebound. What we're going to do then is we're going to take it onto here. Because you're advanced level now, so we don't need to just go onto the GRF yet, flat-footed. So you know when I said right at the beginning of the lesson, we flex to tip the board. That's the drop, and then you pop, then you drop, and then you pop. So the tipping of the board is the shift with the drop. The drop is the shift. You drop to shift. Not this. Yeah, brilliant. Everyone have a go on these. Isn't it strange having a golf lesson not hitting a ball for ages?
Yeah, I know.
But understanding how you could hit a ball with all this, how you can use this to swing a golf club. Now let yourself, when you push off, let yourself rotate from your hip. We're just inviting the body into movement. Movement expression. Watch this, now we can express ourselves more through the hip, watch. Because now we've loaded, we can pop. We can get a bit of rotation through the hips. You don't have to go as low, Jimmy, there. Look at my torso, it's not compromised, watch. And my hips, I don't have to do this to bend my hip. I can just bend my hip. I can do that. And my torso, I could extend my torso, I could rotate and extend and do that. But if I have to go forward with my torso to flex my hips, I'm stuck doing this all the time. How do I now do anything else with my torso? So it compromises the rest of the body. So we've got to be able to move in a way where we're isolating the lower body. It's going to rotate your body as well. That's brilliant. That's the one for you. Just let your bum stick out on the way down more. Really stick your bum out. That's it. Yes. Different feel? That was awesome. Well done. Good, Jack.
It's not just pop.
Nice, Jed. On your way down, guys, you can really stick the sacrum out. You can get your backside, stick your backside out on the pop. You can let yourself sit into the hips on the way down. See if you can go from one side to the other without stopping. Nice, that's awesome. Yeah. This is good, guys. But you've got to now, you can just drop.
Little fraction.
Okay, watch out now.
Same way?
Yeah, now from here, drop. Yeah, hop the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I made it as extended.
Yeah. Look at me and drop.
There you
Drop.
go.
Just drop. Now we're
Yeah,
going to spring
and
this
then
way.
there, and
No, look at me, though. No, you have to go with it. Now drop.
That's it. Yeah. And then it pops from there.
Use the ground.
So it goes one way.
Yeah.
This is feel?
Yes. Fantastic.
Elvis, yeah. Rotate it, but you just drop it. That's it, and then you pop to rotate the other one. There you go. Just like that.
Different way you take right. Watch this. Sorry, George. Okay, just watch this, guys. This is really important. I've just shown you a couple of secret tips, okay? So, Guy, just show us what you're doing for a second. So, nice. Yeah, do it again. Do 3 or 4 together. See what the coordination's like. Pretty good. Okay. Now, ready? So I want you to look at me and don't take your eyes away from me. Okay, it's getting very personal. Intimate. Okay. I don't even look at my girlfriend like that. Right, okay. So, ready?
Yeah.
Drop. Don't look anywhere else apart from me, okay? We're going to pop and rotate.
Which way am I going?
Look at me.
Alright.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, that's it, is it?
I feel it, Marcus. Do you feel it, Guy?
Yeah, I do.
Different feeling?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, don't look down.
Alright.
Okay. We're going to go a little bit quicker. There you go. Now, really push off to rotate. Look how different it is.
Is that right? Because that was completely different to what I was doing in the first place.
So when you're looking at your movement, guys, there's a load of conscious, conceptual stuff in your mind that's going around, and you're basically slowing down to control it. What just happened is you took your focus of attention off your movement, but what you switched on was the peripheral. You switched on your subconscious. Your subconscious now, look how he moves.
Perfect. Yep.
So how often have you worked in a mirror, practicing your swing, and all you're doing is taking yourself back to the place where Guy was before? You take your mind off it. Look at that. Now really let your hips twist as you spin. Yeah, look at that. And you could speed it up. Look at that. So look at the intensity of the drop and the pop now to speed it up. Or you could slow it down. Fantastic. Yes, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
it feels a lot better. I feel stretched now.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
think,
looked at my feet.
I think the thing is, you just like, the way I've been taught is like, you do this, this, this. You know, you're in these positions, but it's more of a flow thing, isn't it?
It's a flow.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a flow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Anywhere?
Yeah, we're going to get.
So you're going to
We're
demonstrate.
going to get you on here, Cheryl, in a minute. I'll just put this in the middle of the show.
Yeah. A little bit harder on that. Grab just a little bit. Alright, now I'm tired.
Yeah, we're gonna have some food in a minute. And
I have a bunch of them.
okay, so I just want two of you to step on the GRF there, and cheers, just so you can see. No club. Now we're going to use the board. And we drop to rock the board. And then when you've rocked the board, you see, you've now got a solid platform to push off. If you're trying to extend, you're trying to use an extensor chain and there's no stability, you're just stomping into the ground. Whereas when you flex, now you can spring off. That's good. But try not to pull your shoulders. Ready? Looking at me again. Through the hips now, through the pelvis. Belt buckle, belt buckle. Very good. Feeling? Let yourself shift from side to side a little bit. Shift with the board as you drop, and then you can spring right at the last second. And that stabilises you, the spring stabilises you. Because you supinate, and suddenly it creates a solid platform. I ain't going that way anymore. So I can go this way, and I can be assertive with it, because I know I'm coming back. But if I've not got that mechanism, and I go that way, whoa, I'm over here, so guess what I've got to do? I've got to start slowing down. Because if I go too quick, I'll lose my balance. So I've just lost the dynamism to my swing. I've got no change of direction now, because I can't go back. I've got no rebound, because your muscles are creating rebound. This is awesome. You know when you see these golf swings on TV and they look dead smooth, there's a load of stuff going off at high speed.
Yeah.
It just looks smooth, because they're hitting it over 300 yards. There's a lot of energy being produced. Jump on there for me. Let's see you.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, no,
That's good. From there,
Anybody
drop to
ready?
your left.
Well, do I have to do it both sides?
Yeah, ready. That was ready. Watch me. Stay tall.
Yeah.
On your right. Ready. Stand up. Ready. Drop. Drop.
So when I'm doing this one, don't
Drop.
Oh, okay, got it. Here.
more of a
Yeah. So now.
That's
yeah,
it.
so this is all moving like
Now keep going, Cheryl. And now use the pop to twist.
So yeah, maybe don't.
That's it. There you go.
Both sides?
Yeah,
over the next
absolutely.
bit, we're gonna really start.
Will I like go wild on my back swing?
No.
after that?
No.
Doing this, and then there's
The opposite.
Yeah.
Different feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is. I mean,
Scary.
everyone thinks there's some people are.
Because you've been taught
Yeah.
to swing in what you feel is a safe way, but it's just slow.
Control.
Yeah.
and then both of us are
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get a real nice compliment on my swing.
Your swing's lovely, but like you
it's
say,
like, don't look at the ball.
like too. Like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You can feel this stuff. So really, it's the drop. It's the drop that's
Yeah.
making the board,
Yes. That creates
and
the
then that
platform.
lets you go.
Yes.
It's not.
Okay.
You don't have to get right over.
No.
I always think I'm getting right over. It always looks
That's
like.
enough.
Oh, that's going to
It
be
always looks like everybody's hitting
just gotta be
right
it.
over.
Well, it looks like
gotta
that.
be
So
it.
drop. Just drop. Now.
That's what it looks like. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's miles over.
Yeah, and it's just.
And there's a club in your hand.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Oh yeah.
Maybe along part 5 or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, if I'm at
Your hips haven't been worked like this for a bit, I guess, in your golf swing.
No one ever told me how to do this.
That's brilliant. Lovely. Oh, Cheryl, yeah. Oh, good. You just got stuck. So you need to pop to rotate, otherwise you'll get
Okay.
stuck. You need to extend. That's it.
There's just a rhythm to it, isn't there?
There is a rhythm. Okay, so now we bring the club. Let me show you this. That was fantastic. Have you been on, Glenn? Have you done it? Yeah, you did that. Now we bring the club. Now both hands. This is where we're going to transition it a little bit, okay? So what I want you to do is you start on here. This is multitasking now. So Cheryl's okay. For us guys, and then once you've got the feel, walk it to a finish. However many steps you want to make, no problem. You'll find the rhythm. You're going to find that rhythm first. Just walk until you get a rhythm. There's no. We're going to have to make sure we're not facing each other for this one. So. That's awesome.
I don't know when to walk off though.
Yeah.
How does that bit work?
Real good.
So hang on, I can't figure out from getting from there to there.
Do you know what this is just training you to do? What do you think this is training you to do, guys?
Just hit the ball
To
freely.
react to the club.
Pardon?
To react to the club.
To react. Yeah, exactly. You're moving now, and the club reacts to you. This is walking. If you struggle doing this, then effectively you're trying to walk with your arms first. So it's reorganising the order of your sequence.
Yeah, but it's from here
Yes. Now dropping and popping. Now stay in this. Yeah. Then what you can do, once you've found this, stay there and just enjoy it with the ground. Enjoy moving and using the ground. Spend some time using what you've got now and enjoying that. Find that. There we go. And now stay in that place and just use it. Awesome.
I'm going to go one more time. I think that one.
It's a nice feeling. That was brilliant, guy.
You know, I stepped off on my other foot last time.
That was good.
I stepped off.
Stay in, and then just find a golf. Once you've done it, find a golf stance and stay in the golf stance and use it in your golf stance. Nice. Cheryl, do you want to jump on?
There you go.
I can't wait to watch you hit the ball.
There you go. Got a drop to tip the board. Yes, that was better, Cheryl. Yes. That's it. Get walking. Little half swings. There we go. Now your hips are working. Then walk into a normal golf stance.
Oh,
so
I
what you'll
like it
find is
too,
then
so-
find your golf stance and then just explore it in your golf stance. and build it up into a full crescendo finish. A big drop and pop to a finish. Drop and pop it now. Yes. Woo. Different feel.
Yeah. It's good, yeah. Just hold on to it.
You're going to learn to trust it.
Yeah.
Because
Just
at the minute,
keep playing the tape.
yes, keep
Up
walking.
and up.
And then, but now you know what it means. And also, I mean, it's only, this is the first morning. And guess what? The short game's going to help you with this afternoon. We're going to do some short game stuff. This will help you with this. That's fantastic, Jen. Yeah, just on these guys.
Still feels awkward.
Yeah, it will do. Well, how does it feel different, Jimmy, if at all?
Hard to verbalize. It feels like
Yeah. You don't have to verbalise
It's
it.
interesting what Jed's saying. It feels three-dimensional.
It's like
It's got a flow and it's actually more range. Like there's more. You're using your movement. Look at that.
So, I mean, I always took my club away like
Yeah.
that, you know, like that. This is just, it's inside. I mean,
You're swinging the weight of the club.
yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always, you know, gone to
Yeah.
try and get wide, you know.
Under tension.
Yeah. But then, I mean, this is just like my arms.
Nice, very nice.
So you've got a natural, Jed, you've got a natural range you can just tap into. Because you know when I showed you the band, that's how you're stretching your body.
instead of the, like you say, the
Yeah.
Always I've done, you know, slow and slow. Take that right back up there and, just, you know.
Try and
like-
control it.
Yeah.
screwing you into the ground.
Yeah, screwing you into the floor, that's what it's doing. When you should be going off the ground.
But
Yeah.
I've never ever thought about that,
Patient like throughout the whole year. So
that
even
part,
within,
the extension,
No.
the up. Never thought about it ever, my whole life.
Right.
You might as well really do this like 15 minutes a day.
Oh.
Killing the courts, killing 100 balls.
Yeah, you're wasting your time hitting balls if you don't do this.
If you hit balls and do it, it's good though, right?
But this takes you, yeah, that's what we're going to do now. So you hit balls with it, but if you do this first, so essentially, if you do this, some of this 5 minutes at home, I mean, we've spent 3 or 4 hours on what is really just 10 minutes worth of drills.
Yeah.
But I've had to explain it because you've got to have rationale for why you're doing it, and it's on the video. And the reason I explain it is that when you watch this in a year's time, you know why you're doing it still. Because this will be forgotten in 6 months' time. It might be forgotten. 90% of what we're talking about is going to be forgotten in a week.
But we still need to use it though, right?
But your body will still be using it. But then if it starts to go a little bit off piste, you've got your video. And when you watch the video, because I've explained it, you've got the rationale behind the exercises, and you can cherry pick the exercises you need because you've got some framework to what you're doing because you've got feedback loops. So you orchestrate your own practice. You're coaching yourself. So it's interesting what Jed's feeling. More freedom of motion, yeah?
Feel tight.
You feel tight.
It doesn't feel tight.
Doesn't feel tight compared to before.
No, it feels like, you know, you can,
Yes.
you know, it's just kind of,
So this is what you're telling me now, guys, is the mindset that goes with the physical skill set. So what you're feeling now, okay, there's a calmness. There's a calm. Okay? When you were hitting balls and warming up, there was no calm. I can feel a calmness here, okay? This is what you sense on a professional golf event. What you're feeling now is what it's like when you walk in the fairways and the pros are so calm. It's like this. Because you're physically more competent in what you're doing, so the mental skills, the mental side, the mentality changes. So now you start to embrace your movement, and what we need to do is now hit balls and start to recognise when we're in this mental space what it's like to use the physical skill set in this mental space. And now we're going to take the judgment away from the golf shot, because you are the kid learning to walk. You are going to fall over. You're clambering up, you're on the side of the sofa, you're trying to get up and you're falling off. You're on a bike and you're going to fall off. That's no problem, because it's only the start of your journey. It's not the end product. You're going to have some success, but you're going to have some failure, but We're already prepared for that. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to get some balls and we're going to have some fun moving with a club. Just let me explain. You've got all the training aids here for resets. So if you're struggling, don't try and fix this by thinking. This is not a thinking thing, it's a doing thing. Your body doesn't respond well to complex language. It responds well to a basic intention that is sensory based. So give it the sensation, give it the sensory information it needs. That's the training aids. And then your organisation, like with Guy, when he was staring me in the eyes and moving, started to move with more efficiency because his body knew what to do. He just needed to shift his attention into the right place. When you're doing these exercises, what they're doing is they're moving your attention into a different place, which is allowing you to swing the golf club. So you've got to keep going back to these exercises because it resets the mindset for the golf swing. So there's not this kind of manic state where we're hitting golf balls. It should be calm, considered. We're diligent practices because we're prepared. There's structure to what we're doing. You're starting to create a blueprint. So let's hit a few shots, guys. Find your spaces from before. We're going to take it in turns, and I want you to watch each other. Because guess what you can also do now? You can help coach each other.